All right, I want to, we got to, you know what, I found that if you can involve your clients in practical jokes, so if one great way to get close to a client is to have them be part of, if you both know somebody that, if you both have a common friend or a common client, and then you can involve them in the surprise, the fact that you teamed up against a mutual friend and did something fun or surprising is a great way to build an immediate bond with somebody. So I look for opportunities to do that as well, to involve as many people as I can in some of the schemes that I cook up from time to time. So keep that in mind as well. One of my favorite practical jokes was my mom and I have a fun relationship where we're always playing practical jokes on each other. So April Fool's Day is a big holiday in America for our family because we're always trying to get each other. So my mom knows something's coming, so I have to get a little bit more creative every year. But a few years back, now that she's retired, she spends 6 months a year in Colorado and 6 months a year in Arizona. So April Fool's Day, she's in Arizona. So I went into her house in Denver with a friend, a voice you wouldn't recognize. He leaves this message on her machine. Thanks for calling the Schmittenbergs. Bruce is playing golf, Doris is doing the yoga thing, and the kids are in trouble somewhere. If you called to talk to the Shares, they're in Arizona and can be reached at 602-585-9303. Beep. Then I had a friend in Denver calling in Arizona and say, Lita Mae, is there somebody living in your house in Denver? She says, what? She says, you better call. I got a strange message on your, in Denver. So she called and she got that message. And she thought that I'd leased out her house. And I can tell the joke's working because she called me and she says, Scott, who are the Schmittenbergs? Mom, I'm not quite sure who you. Don't you play games with me? Who are they? Oh, the Schmittenbergs. Oh, Mom, from Kentucky. They are the nicest people. Their house wasn't ready yet. Won't be ready till the 1st of May. You're not coming home till the end of May. I thought, what would it hurt if they just lived in your house until their house was ready? What would it hurt? What would it hurt? Now, do you have people in your life that when they are trying to support their side of an argument, they just make things up out of nowhere? My mom is this way sometimes. Do you know that 42.7% of all statistics are made up on the spot? Like that one. She says, the neighbors are complaining about the Schmittenbergs. Their dog barks late at night, knocks over trash in the neighborhood. I go, Mom, they don't have a dog. They do too. Geez, I never saw the dog. Well, you get them out by tomorrow. Mom, I guess I should have never signed a contract. What? Slams down the phone. I picked up the phone to call her back. I thought, I'm just going to let her think about it for a while. And I forgot to call her back. 3 hours later, my sister calls me. She says, Scott, I'm calling to give you Mom's flight information. I go, flight information? Yeah, she's coming to get rid of the Schmittenbergs. I go, So there's some good news and some bad news about how the story ends. The bad news, $386 later on a quick ticket, and who do you think's paying for the ticket? And the good news is really good news. The Schmittenbergs left the place so clean. So who in your life needs to lighten up a little bit? See, if we can start to think about surprise and practical jokes and tapping into what's highest on people's joy list and involve people that aren't normally involved, then we can create that spirit and we invite people in to play a little bit. So whether it's your employees, whether it's your customers, whether it's your family, you know, be thinking of ideas. Just kind of keep the radar out for what people enjoy. You know, what's on their joy list, and then how can you provide them with that joy in a sneaky kind of way, in a fun kind of way. Right? That's one of your challenges to take home with you today. Fair enough? Fair enough. All right. Planned spontaneity is a form of surprise. Planned spontaneity sounds like an oxymoron. Two words that don't go together, right? Planned spontaneity is, you ever been in a situation where something happens and about 5 minutes later you say to yourself, oh, if I would have just said that, that would have been so perfect in that situation. Okay, we can write those things down because there'll be another chance to use those things. I was a speaker, and a friend of mine were watching a speaker at a convention, and the speaker fell off the stage. Once we realized there was no blood, my friend turned to me and said, hey, what would you say right now if you fell off a stage? So I thought about it for a brief moment, and I said, I'd probably say something like, oh, don't mind me, it's just a stage I'm going through. I said, what would you say? He says, I will now take questions from the floor. So the next time I fall off a stage, I'm going with his. I will now take questions from the floor. All right, so planned spontaneity. Look for opportunities because things happen in our lives, right? I mean, things are, we don't want to lead a monotonous life. We want to continue to look for the opportunities to add that humor into our lives. So what are some of the things in your life that happen again and again that we can play with the planned spontaneity and bring humor back into our lives? One of the common things that is said to me when I check into it at an airport, Mr. Friedman, your final destination? Well, my final destination, if everything works out well, is heaven. But today I'm just going to Dubai. You know? All right, thank you, Mr. Friedman. Have you ever been at someone's house for dinner or at a party, and you're in the bathroom, you're in the toilet, and somebody rattles the door to get in? Normally you'd say what? You know, I'm in here, be out in a minute, right? Next time try this. Come in. I mean, you want to spice up a dinner party? That will spice up a dinner party. Let's see if I have any more. Another one of my, it's like somebody says, you know, you ever hear from somebody, you're not yourself today? So next time somebody says, you know, you're just not yourself today, look right at them and say, why are you telling me? Because if they're not themselves, they'd be somebody else. And no, it's a little. All right, you're a little slow, but you're worth waiting for. All right, any other ones here that? For some reason, people, if they're going to call me a wrong name, they call me Steve. Do I look like a Steve? I must, because a lot of people call me Steve. So, and you know how when you call somebody by the wrong name, that you kind of feel, oh, you're a little bit embarrassed or whatever. So I make it a point, I try to make people feel, you know, comfortable with any situation, anything that's said to me. I never try to make them feel bad for misinformation, right? So it's coming up with ways to make people feel good. So when somebody comes up and I go, hey, Steve, I go, I said, it used to be Steve, but a couple weeks ago I changed it to Scott. Really? Why would you change your name so far into your life? What were you thinking? And it just kind of the wheels turn. It's just kind of a fun way to respond to that situation. I have a friend by the name of W. Mitchell who's a professional speaker, and he's been through 2 horrendous accidents, and he's in a wheelchair. He's a quadriplegic now, and talks about it's not what happens to you, it's what you do about it. Wonderful man. But when he wheels up to the plane now, you know, many times a flight attendant will say to him as he's coming up to the plane, can you walk to your seat from here? And he can't. But he doesn't want to be rude and make the flight attendant feel uncomfortable, right? So he'll say, he says, I can, but I only have a few steps left, and I just didn't want to use them today. Yeah. So it's a nice way of saying that, no, I really can't, but you know, but then it's a nice, humorous, planned, spontaneous way of making somebody else feel comfortable when maybe they wouldn't feel so comfortable, right? And that's what we're looking for with planned spontaneity is to put people at ease, or to play the little element of surprise to bring that back into play.